quick other background before I started at Reddit. I've been at Reddit for about 9 months now. I started the day after, the Monday after that Super Bowl ad. That was really exciting. Previously, I spent 9 years at Sprinklr, which I guess is a new competitor of NetBase Squid. Back when Google NetBase Squid popped up, but so I spent 9 years there as one of the first 50 employees. I split my time between on the enablement side, working directly with our clients to get them set up on the platform, enable them on their specific instance, and the other half of the time I spent on our partnerships team, working directly with our API data partners, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. So that's just to say that I understand, or I like to think I understand what brands are looking for when they are listening for conversations and listening for data. And now that I'm on the Reddit side, it's really fun to work with partners like NetBase Squid. So I'm going to kick it off with, oh, I have my notes here too. Sweet. I'm going to kick it off with a video. And I put this screenshot here because I feel like I always got excited when the teacher rolled that in. Maybe I'm dating myself, but do we have that queued up? Yes.
Reddit has millions of monthly visitors, dramatic year-over-year daily user growth, and like a bajillion comments. But the stats that really show the power of Reddit are the ones that come from our communities every day.
So you're eating an onion out of the trash?
Yeah. Like all the moms who got real about motherhood, the dudes who discovered tailoring, the cat lovers who turned this guy into a global marketing phenomenon, the green thumbs who saved the world's overwatered plants, the beauty icons who shared their latest looks, and the couch potatoes who trained for their first 5K.
It's 3 miles.
The first-time car buyers who needed advice, and all the other Redditors who get together around the things they care about.
Oh, you have a baby!
Touchdown confirmed. Powerful things can happen when brands connect with people's passions. There's a place for that. It's called Reddit.
I've seen it 100 times. It just pumps me up every time, the little girl. Anyways, so there might be some people here that are like, what did I just watch? What does that mean? What is all of this? So my goal for today is to kind of talk to you about Reddit, understand what it is, do a little 101, talk about the Reddit audience, who they are, who's on Reddit, why the Reddit audience is valuable, and what it means for brands, and then we can have a little Q&A if we have time at the end. And then quick shout out to Reddit, named by Adweek as the 2021 on the digital hot list as the hottest platform, and that is a screenshot of the Super Bowl ad from earlier this year. Nothing to add, just that. Our mission is to bring community and belonging to everyone in the world. Ambitious, yes, but it's what we live as employees of Reddit. It's what we value to our partners and to our brands, and especially to our users. So you're going to hear me use the term community a lot during this, and I'll get to why and what a community is. And on Reddit, there are passionate communities that can't be found elsewhere. So what are these communities? Who are they? Why do I keep saying communities? On Reddit, there are over 100,000 communities. So there's literally a community for anything you can think of. Any interest you have, any passion that you have, you can find that conversation happening on Reddit. Also, Reddit's huge. There's 50 million daily active users, and our daily active users increased. This is a 2020 number, I believe, up 44%, and waiting on the 2021 number, but it is trending that way. So you can see here, there's makeup, there's music, and thought that was supposed to play, but that's fine. No. So who's on Reddit? Who's the Reddit audience? Who are these 50 million daily active users? Well, one of them is, oh, no, I jumped ahead. Yeah, one of them is me. So I'm on Reddit, but I'm not David Factor on Reddit. I'm this bearded alien with a random username, and I don't need you. You can ignore that. Do not follow me. Do not even look that up. My updated slides had that removed, but it was too late. Needless to say, I'm on Reddit. I'm defined by my passions. So this is an actual screenshot of my Reddit app, and these are the communities that I follow. And it just kind of like H through M here, and all of these mean something to me. At the top, you see home improvement. I'm a first-time home buyer. My wife and I just bought a house a couple weeks ago. We can't move in yet because it needs a lot of work. I know nothing about home improvement. I lived in Manhattan for 12 years. I don't know how to do anything. I started reading the Our Home Improvement community, and I'm just deep in it. I'm reading things I should not be even reading. I'm making comments to my wife like, we need a farmhouse sink. She's like, what are you talking about? How do you know about this? And I even reached out to the community last week because I had I used the community to buy a Wi-Fi deadbolt. It's awesome. They installed it wrong, I thought. I asked the community, hey, I think something went wrong here. Can you help me out? And they responded like, they totally messed up. You need to call them. So enough about home improvement. I'm also a huge music fan, so there's several music-related threads here. And then, Reddit's not all serious too. There's a lot of silly stuff on there. And I have a young toddler, and one of my favorite threads is kids are effing stupid. It's not what it sounds like. It's just videos of kids falling down, and they're not getting hurt. They're fine. So this is who some of the Reddit audience is. But it's not just me on Reddit. There's a lot of other people on Reddit. And the audience does skew to Gen X, so it's younger, 18 to 34. 43% female as of 2020, which is growing rapidly. And the median income is 6% higher than the US average. And also year-over-year growth, yeah. And we like to say that Reddit is a leaned-in audience. You are diving into these conversations, you're diving into these communities. 49% of people on Reddit are not on Instagram. 74% are not on Snapchat. And what I don't have up here, I always get asked, it is 61% of people on Reddit not on TikTok, as whenever we pulled that stat. And time spent on the platform averages 34 minutes on mobile. I can contest to that. And why do people come to Reddit? They come to Reddit, the number one reason is to be informed. I jumped one, that's okay. Right, yeah. So they want to be informed, actively seeking, not aimlessly scrolling. So the users are coming to the platform to share in the same interests and the same communities. And I like this quote from our partner in Toyota: Reddit's strength derives from its community of users who engage and share on a much deeper level. I think that's my goal of what I want to get across for you today. I will take a little argument with the title of this slide because I love scrolling. I pull out my phone and I love a good scroll. So there is plenty of scrolling to be done on Reddit. The thing that sometimes happens when I want to get a good scroll in is the first thing I see is a conversation I want to jump into. So algorithm knows me. The algorithm is, we all know the algorithm. So boom, there's home improvement, someone talking about insulation, whatever. So my scrolling turns into reading, and I sometimes get sidetracked, but scroll away. All right, I want to take a quick step back and talk about little how it works, a little Reddit 101. When I first started at Reddit, I remember my best friend was like, congrats. He's like, I know what Reddit is, but I just have no idea what Reddit is. And I was like, that's fine. I gave him kind of a quick 5-minute overview, and then I sent him some communities that I thought he would like. And now he texts, we have like a group text. He texts us daily, like with hilarious stuff. And he's like, people on Reddit aren't a-holes. I was like, okay, I'll take that. I'm sure there's plenty, but maybe compared to some whatever else you're reading, I'll take it. So this is very 101. What I want you to see here is I mentioned before, the audience is leaned in. So when you get on Reddit, you are looking at the home feed. Your home feed is showing you the relevant content of the communities that you subscribe to. When you jump into a community that you have joined, like financial planning, then you're going to see posts just about financial planning under there. So you know when you jump into our financial planning, that everything under there is going to be conversations about financial planning. And I chose this because it's financial planning. Finance is huge on Reddit. I read financial planning. I had my daughter 2.5 years ago. And again, never would have thought I'd be reading financial planning, but here we are. And it's been, like, personally, it's awesome. I see kids right out of college asking like investment questions. And when I was right out of college, I was not thinking about investment questions, but you get the idea. And 68% of Reddit users say that the conversations on Reddit are more relevant to them than other platforms. Okay, I've said the term r/. I think I may have said subreddit, community. Reddit is made up of communities, obviously. I've said it, but we also call them subreddits, and we also call it r/. So any community that you go to, r/personal finance, r/movies, the names are interchangeable. Every community has a moderator that moderates that manages the community experience, and they're also known as the mods. Our users, anyone who's on Reddit, is called a Redditor, and they are considered the original poster, or the OP. So when I made that post about my locks being messed up, I had considered the original poster, the OP. And this guy's name, the alien's name, is Snoo, and that's what we also call our employees. My daughter calls him Snoop, which is adorable. And I heard our CEO say that Snoo stands for what's new? What's new? Yeah, what's new? Snoo. There you go. Our platform is also 16 years old, which a lot of people don't know about. And I think this was like a doodle in their notebook, and not much thought was put into it. And then I'll just fly through. Again, the home screen is where any communities you subscribe to are going to be there. Once you jump into the community, anything under that, any post under that is relevant to that community. Voting is really important on Reddit. It helps determine a post's position and reach. So it's, you like a post on any platform, but the voting also helps keep the community, keeps the conversation going and keeps the community safe. If someone jumps in with something like way off topic or negative, for example, it's usually downvoted out of there. And also the best content is voted to the top, and that also affects how comments are sorted as well by voting, and they're also threaded, so the conversation can keep going. And posting, it's not just text. Reddit has videos and links and memes galore, and lots of other stuff on the roadmap. So why are we here? Leverage the power of authentic conversations. So I said the name of my presentation in the presentation. Like when that happens in a movie, it's always exciting. So you want to identify, once you start pulling in that data, identify and perceive. What are the communities that your brand is interested in? What are the topics? What are the keywords? What are the communities that you want to start listening to? What are the customers talking about? What are the trends? What is the breaking news? So this is what you're going to, and put this data side by side your other channels as well. Start to see what's happening on Reddit that might not happen on Twitter or on another platform. And then if you choose, if it makes sense, where it makes sense, you can engage. You can jump into the conversation. Again, it has to be relevant. You can't be spammy or you're going to get downvoted out of there. But where it makes sense for your brands, jump into the conversation. And I'll go through a couple ways to do that. On my way here, my wife texted me a screenshot, and she's like, "This is for your talk today." And I was like, I didn't understand what she was saying. It was a Reddit thread, something that she was looking up about landscaping. The owner of the landscaping business jumped in and answered all these questions, and I was like, "Oh, thanks, way to mix it up." I'm on my way here. So anyways, I threw it in. Cool. So this should be familiar to you. I'm not going to go into too deep of what this is, but these are pulling in some of the subreddits. And I'll quickly, I think we're running out of time, but there's multiple ways for your brands to engage in Reddit. Organic, obviously paid. Reddit is an advertising platform as well. So there is opportunities not just for jumping in and answering a question about landscaping, but there is opportunities for marketing, for paid engagement as well. Understanding where the conversations are happening. We use Lord of the Rings as for this example. Narrowing down 100,000 plus communities. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings communities. I follow probably all of them. Some are more serious, some are hilarious. Anyways, you get the idea. AMAs, Reddit invented the AMA, the Ask Me Anything. Great way for brands to engage your audience. I've been a part of a bunch of AMAs now, and they're always really exciting. One we did recently with, I didn't do the Cookie Monster one, but I wish I did. But I did one with the NBA. This was part of a paid promotion with NBA, but they did an organic AMA as well with Jason Tatum. And it was just really, really fun to watch the questions come in, and he was such a good sport answering them. So it's another way to get your brand engaged. And I think I have just a few quick Kind Snacks did an AMA with nutrition experts. John Wick movie had paid promotion going, but they also joined in the community and jumped in some comments and were answering questions. Chipotle crowdsourced some menu ideas from nutrition and some keto-focused communities. And I just thought this one was fun. MeUndies did a really fun paid campaign recently, and I don't have too much information on advertising today, but I'm happy to provide any additional information for ads. But I just thought that one was fun, and that it just speaks to the uniqueness of Reddit and how brands can sort of pivot differently from maybe a typical marketing campaign. All right, I think I did it in time. All right, cool. So we're gonna have a few minutes for questions, I think. All right. Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah.
So I think the first question, this is probably very relevant for Reddit, just a lot of people is around moderators. Can you tell us a little bit more? And I know we wrote a specific question, but
Oh,
can you
that's
just a little bit more about Reddit's moderation policies?
yeah, and I know I just kind of briefly went over, skimmed by it, but I said before, every community has a moderator that manages the experience. So there are volunteers, they're all volunteer moderators or mods, and Reddit takes user safety extremely serious. We take, moderation and brand safety just very, very, very serious. So there's essentially the moderators sit in sort of this middle layer of the overall platform moderation. You have your platform, we have our policy, our terms and conditions. You can't, no hate speech, no violence. That will be immediately removed from, via our technology, also via just, user reporting. And then the moderators themselves can govern how each community is managed. And I've even run up personally against them a few times by posting in a subreddit and having my post removed because I didn't read the rules. And I thought my post was hilarious, and then I get a notification that it's been removed, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't read the rules." And then the user, the other layer is just user. If something is inappropriate or something that needs to be reported, then it'll be reported by the community. The community of users is amazing at keeping their community safe.
Starting with the hard-hitting questions, So I guess we can move on to something a little bit more fun.
Hit away.
Can you tell me a little bit about the culture at Reddit, just how it's been working there since you started?
Yeah, I love it. I love working there. Like I said, I've been there since February, so I guess 9 months or so. It's very inclusive. It's just kind of a fun, even as remote. I feel very included in my team, and we have a thing that we say is remember the human. It's kind of our platform. Anyone on Reddit is still a person, it's still you and me. So we want to, respect them and take care of them as much as we can, and that transfers to our culture and internally. And yeah, it's fun. I'm excited to meet people that I work with that I've never met.
That's what we're doing today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Too, so looking forward to that for you. I think that was one of the communities you found on the subreddits, right? It was something about being more human. Something like that. Did I see that?
Humans being bros.
Yes.
I love that one. Yes. Humans being bros is like there's animals being bros and then there's humans being bros. And I follow both of them, and it's just like such a feel-good video. It's humans being bros is like a guy helping a sheep that's caught in a fence, and then like letting the sheep run away. And then animals being bros is like a duck saving a rabbit from a hawk. It's just like yeah, it's just it's feel good. It's feel good stuff.
So I had a follow-up question. Now I'm blanking on it, so I might have to go back to that. But a little bit more about the product. So I know when we were first talking, we met last week over Zoom, of course. First time meeting in person, which is great. One thing that we always get asked by our customers, and I'm sure you do as well, is about our product roadmap, innovation. So really curious if there's specific things, sneak peeks, or things that you're looking forward to in terms of company vision for Reddit in the upcoming year.
Sure, yeah. I think the big thing is we're very US focused right now, US based. We're trying to go international. That means expanding into, we opened offices in Canada. We just opened offices in Australia. We just announced an office opening in Germany last week. So we noticed that there was a ton of traffic, English speaking, even in Germany, France, and some of these other non-English primarily countries, that there was still tons of traffic coming to the platform. So we are looking to expand globally. And then the other thing I can probably talk about is, which kind of is contrast to one of my slides where it's like, don't follow me. I'm anonymous, that's the value of the platform, but we are making a space for our creators. So everyone on Reddit, anytime you post, you're essentially a creator. And we're trying to figure out how these people can monetize. How, if you're on Reddit and you're putting these awesome videos and you're, cooking videos, or there's like DJ sets that like live DJ sets and live, just like, so much random fun stuff. But like, we feel like we want to keep you on the platform. So if there's a way that we can build out your profile and help you monetize, that's going to be a big focus for next year.
Yeah, it sounds like you're already starting to do a lot of really cool stuff with brands. I love the Chipotle one and the MeUndies. This over here. So that's really exciting to hear more about the monetization stuff, because I know that's everybody's wanting to do that. How
Yeah.
brands can really get involved. And I liked how you talked a little bit about social listening too, and how you can use the platform to actually see how different communities are talking, because that can help with the strategy as well for brands.
Absolutely.
Last, just a fun question, then if anybody has questions for David, we can go into those. I'm curious if you have any favorite Reddit moments in general, like a user.
Yeah. Even the ones where like they're removing my posts is, I don't know, I just find it funny because I'm like, yeah, it works. A lot of my favorite moments, I was talking about like the humans being bros and the animals being bros, is like, there's a lot of feel-good stuff happening. And that's the stuff that I lean to. There was like a comment this summer about donating to a children's charity. I forget the exact situation, but it was like overwhelmed the charity with donations, and that wasn't even the intention. It was just, Redditors piling on. So stuff like that, like, tear jerking stuff. And then one fun thing, I don't know if I can probably talk about it. Yeah, who cares? We had an internal like all presentation, like a summit, and one of our guest speakers was T-Pain, and he's like a hardcore Redditor, and he was talking about all of his favorite threads, all of his favorite communities, and we were all just like, I mean, this is virtual, but we were all just like, oh my God, T-Pain is awesome. And then we found out he like reached back out and was like, I want to work there. And we're like, you want to work at Reddit? We're like, write up the position. So maybe don't share that out, but that's just like so random and fun and funny to watch that.
I'm gonna have to follow. Is his name T-Pain?
No, it's I forget.
You'll send him as a follow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To T-Pain? Okay. Yes.
You notice that pattern, and I guess any like quality in users and
Yeah, absolutely. Very similar dynamic, and I think Twitch is, and maybe Discord. They're all very unique in their offering, and we almost are trying to work, to complement that. We don't need to pull the users off of Twitch, but we want to have them have a space on Reddit as well, include their Twitch stream on, in their profile, and, do their thing on Twitch, but maybe come to Reddit to like talk about it, for example. But yeah, I mean, perfect example. I know he's huge on Twitch, and when we were talking to him, he had like all his setup going on, and yeah. Thank you. I think I took a screenshot, but.
Does anybody else have any questions for him? Where should I start? I saw your hand first, so.
Thanks. Sure.
a community map or something.
Yeah, no, that's a really cool idea, a really cool use case. I don't know if Reddit is going to have a solution for that. I'd love to see your solution. I think that the anonymity of the user base might play a role in why we don't want to do something focused on what the actual user is doing and what the user, where the user is, more so about what they're talking about. But I love the use case. It makes total sense because you can see I'm in a whole bunch of different ones and I'm talking about a whole bunch of different things, and find that intersection and find that value of where that brand can come in.
Yeah, that's a really oh. Can we take a couple more questions, Lauren? One more. Okay. Wait, I saw. I'm gonna do over here and then I'll come back to this. There was two ladies over here that raised their hands. Do you have a joint question or separate question?
Yeah, no, I love the presentation. I hope this isn't redundant. I couldn't really hear the one over there. But I think it's been fascinating. We've been using NetBaseQuid for several years. Over the past 5 years, I think I've seen Reddit change so dramatically in terms of how people are posting, who's posting. And I think every platform has a really specific role, how people are using it. But Reddit provides so much value in getting detailed responses. And then I think what you mentioned, or what maybe somebody mentioned in one of the questions, is how brands are interacting. So do you have any advice on, as a vendor, a supporter of our clients, how we can advise them to be authentic and not promote themselves, but also kind of integrate themselves into the conversation to share a good message?
Yeah, I think the first step is to understand. Just listen, understand what's happening. Don't just pull the visual insights, but get into the conversations and figure out what the community is. Because like I said, if you may only get one chance as a brand to talk within a community before they're get out of here. So just understand the conversation. If there's a lot of, and also it depends what the brand is. CPG brands, maybe retail brands might have it easier where they can jump in for support questions. And it kind of just depends on what the brand is. But I would just say do your homework first and understand the rules of the community, understand what the conversations are, and respect the human. Don't jump in where you don't need to. There's a lot of personal conversations happening where someone might not want whomever to comment on their post. So I just say do your homework. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you had raised your hand earlier.
Thank you so much for presenting. I'm a huge Redditor myself.
Oh, cool.
And I think one of the challenges that we sometimes find when using Reddit data is that it's anonymous, right? And to try to convince a brand that user R, whatever, is just as valuable as a Twitter user can be quite difficult because of the perceived anonymity.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say to maybe an old-fashioned CMO that values Twitter, Facebook, so-called real users more than the anonymous Reddit users, despite the fact that those of us who are on Reddit maybe trust that Redditor as a source of truth and as someone who's been through it, like yourself, who trust mommy, father, blogs, things like that?
Yeah, for sure. It is a great question. That conversation can be difficult, and I think it's you go to other platforms to hear what your friends are saying, or hear what an influencer is saying, or plan an event, but you're going on Reddit to understand the conversations, and they're not we don't even think of them as comments. They're meaningful conversations and threaded conversations. So the user, you're not following users. The brand shouldn't be focusing on what the specific user is saying. They should be following what's happening within that community and within those conversations, and what other conversations. So you should be able to pick up not just there's always probably one subreddit that aligns to your brand or aligns to your vertical, but understanding where else those conversations are happening and dive into those subreddits as well. And, it's like I said, I think I said the term community 100 times today, but that's what it's about. It's about the conversations in the community versus following a single person. Good luck with that conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, David. That was really insightful. Now I have a bunch of new subreddits to follow. So
Oh, yeah.
thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, David.